Hello, I'm Chad Hungerford. I'm Deloitte's Global Pillar Two leader, and I'm joined today by Albert Fleming and Bev Rognaldsen, who are from our tax technology team that are responsible for developing and implementing Pillar Two Agent. While June 2026 may seem far off, the reality is that Pillar Two compliance is already here. Our clients are facing the immediate need to register for Pillar Two in a growing number of jurisdictions, combined with the need to start gathering the data and firming up their processes for their more substantive GER filings that are due later in 2025 and 2026. So Albert and Bev are going to help me demystify what that process looks like and take you on the journey from where you are today to being ready for e-filing your Pillar 2 returns in 2025 and 2026. Collaborating with our clients on their Pillar 2 journey has highlighted some common areas where we can provide support. Many are navigating the complexities of Pillar 2 filings for the first time. There's a learning curve when it comes to understanding the scope of these filings, which extends beyond the transitional safe harbor. We found it's valuable for clients to understand the potential filing requirements early on. They need to keep in mind that they're likely to have a registration requirement in each country that has implemented Pillar 2 where they operate. Belgium, Hungary, UK, Germany, filings that are already been announced and that many of your teams are already working on. Second, you need to understand that you've got a GIR filing in at least one jurisdiction, but depending on information sharing arrangements between jurisdictions, you might have multiple GIR filings that contain all of the substantive information necessary to calculate your Pillar 2 obligations globally. And then finally, we're seeing the proliferation of GR notifications and local supplemental returns likely in every country in which you operate. So you're going to see a registration in every country, a local return in every country, and a GIR return in one or more countries. And that's really the filing requirement that's coming for you, even if you meet the transitional safe harbor requirements everywhere you operate. So you'll have dozens or even up to 100 plus returns that are going to be part of your Pillar 2 obligations all around the world. And we've observed that even companies who've diligently analyzed Pillar 2's impact on their tax provision face significant steps and work to do in preparing for Pillar 2 compliance. Pillar 2 compliance requires a strategic approach to technology, encompassing not only our immediate compliance needs, but also its wider impact on business processes. When we think about going on this Pillar 2 journey with our clients, we've seen some common areas where support is necessary. A key consideration for many is understanding the technology that is used for Pillar 2 calculations. You're going to need a platform that takes you to the next level as you approach Pillar 2 compliance. For those companies that are already deeper into this process and they're thinking about how they're going to go about e-filing their returns, it's important to acknowledge that there are a number of external factors at play. Governments are still developing their own e-filing platforms and XML forms, and there's a possibility of delays. Right? When we look to the UK, which is generally on the forefront of tax administration, they're telling us that their platform may not be ready for e-filing until as late as March of 2026, which leaves companies and technology providers a very small window to turn around their tax technology offerings and to get their forms put into the format that's needed to get into the UK's e-filing platform. In speaking with many of our clients as they work towards compliance with these Pillar 2 rules globally, there's a few key challenges that stand out. First, which we've already touched on, there's a general lack of awareness regarding the nature and extent of Pillar 2 filings that companies will have to make. Second, even for those companies that have done significant work as part of their tax provision to analyze and quantify the impact of Pillar 2, a lot of work remains to prepare for Pillar 2 compliance. For our clients, I often ask them what technology or software they are using to address Pillar 2 for tax provision purposes. Companies are performing these calculations in Excel. I then ask them what technology and software they intend to use for Pillar 2 compliance. Most haven't thought that far, but the Excel calculations they are using for tax provision won't be able to e-file Pillar 2 returns in the 30 plus countries around the world where they need to file. So Albert, I've just walked through a lot of what I've been seeing as I've been engaging with clients in the US. What are you seeing in your practice based in the UK?
Thanks, Chad. Very, very similar message actually in the UK. But as well as the points you make about the complexity of the filing landscape and how that might evolve, I think a lot of clients are looking at the tax compliance filing, which covers multiple jurisdictions, as an entirely new challenge, both from a process, technology, and organizational perspective. Because when you reflect, for many of our clients, tax returns are filed locally with minimal central oversight, and we now have returns which will be prepared, reviewed, and possibly even filed locally, but which are also part of the new global information return, which will have to be filed centrally. So this is a completely new approach to compliance, and also will need completely new technology and processes to embed that with our clients.
So, Albert, if that's the challenge, if companies are facing this new paradigm, which is centrally coordinated rules, central data gathering, perhaps central preparation of returns, how do they bridge these gaps? How do they get prepared to be nimble enough to get through the challenges I've described and also the new paradigm that you've described? And what can Deloitte do to help?
Well, I've over 30 years experience in tax technology, and most of it has been around building and implementing technology to manage new regulations like Pillar 2. But Pillar 2 is different. It is a global tax compliance obligation. So on Pillar 2, based on the discussions I've had with clients, there are really three areas of focus right at the moment. Data sourcing and management. So this is really getting started on the data you need for the return and the processes. It's a very heavy lift, but an opportunity to look at accelerators. It's also an opportunity to look at new approaches such as Gen AI and also broader data initiatives in your organization. The second area I'd say for most clients is looking at safe harbor analysis and modeling. And this is really kind of right sizing the Pillar 2 scope. So figuring out actually which countries you have obligations in and how you're going to manage those obligations. The last part that clients are starting to focus on is starting to plan for compliance and how returns will be filed. And that involves choosing which technology to use for filing. So I'll pause there and I'll just hand over to Beverly to outline how Deloitte can help on these challenges and also more broadly across Pillar 2.
Each business has unique needs and faces specific challenges related to Pillar 2. Our approach is not a one-size-fits-all. We work closely with our clients to develop tailored solutions that address the specific circumstances. We know the nature of these challenges are not something our tax clients have had to address before. They are complex, but they're not insurmountable. So that's why our approach is twofold. Firstly, it's about standardising where it's appropriate and efficient to do so. We have designed an efficient, flexible and comprehensive process to manage Pillar 2 obligations. That's from notifications through to filing returns. This can be adapted to our clients' needs, so they benefit from the standardisation and efficiency, but there is sufficient flexibility to tailor it to their specific circumstances. We've invested in building a comprehensive tax calculation engine and filing solution. This has been designed to meet requirements for all our clients from a tax calculation and filing perspective and to serve our broad range of clients and allowing them to benefit from those efficiencies. However, our clients have really complex landscapes and they do genuinely operate in nuanced ways, so we know we have to be able to meet that need head on. So that's why, secondly, our approach is about having flexibility where it's appropriate and necessary to do so. We work closely with our clients to understand and address their individual challenges. Where we've developed the solution, it's designed from the outset to be configurable for specific client needs. We recognise that for many clients, this is a significant data challenge, and we have the experts with deep tax, technology, and industry experience, and the right accelerators to really help clients with this. So overall, our clients and our engagement teams have told us that they need this balance between standardisation and flexibility in this complex landscape, and that is what we've aimed to do. We are proud of what we've designed and built, and we believe we've designed an efficient, flexible and comprehensive process to manage Pillar 2 obligations from notifications to filing returns. This can be adapted to our clients' needs so they can benefit from the standardisation and efficiency, but there is sufficient flexibility to tailor it to their specific circumstances. I'm going to pass over to Albert, who will highlight some of the accelerators that I touched upon earlier.
Thanks, Bev. I'm just going to mention three, which I believe are the most relevant right now. So firstly, we have a guide to the data points needed to calculate and file a GIR return, which we call the data diagnostic. This is used to uncover gaps and challenges around data provision and also to help in-house teams understand what data is needed for Pillar 2. Stepping up from that, we have accelerators, which can look at the data challenge in a more automated manner. One of those is our covered taxes analyzer, which takes a download from your provision platform and performs a detailed gap analysis on the data you currently use for that process. And lastly, Pillar 2 Agent itself can offer assistance to clients in this area. It has an integrated data guide, which provides detailed information on each data point, and it also has a built-in data wrangling with no less than 5 different data ingestion options to meet the security and organizational needs of our clients. Alongside these accelerators, we can deploy deep technical expertise in tax and technology. This allows us to provide holistic and practical advice to help clients complete all tax returns in line with local tax laws and regulations. So I'm going to focus back on Pillar 2 Agent in more detail. So Pillar 2 regulations and processes are complex. To effectively manage this new landscape, companies need technology solutions that go beyond point solutions. Our Pillar 2 Agent platform is designed to streamline the entire Pillar 2 compliance journey from end to end. Pillar 2 Agent stands out for its comprehensiveness and scalability. It's built on architecture, capable of handling the largest and most complex data sets. With its security-first design and flexible calculation engine, it empowers your tax teams to manage every aspect of Pillar 2, from data transformation and analysis to reporting and filing, with confidence and ease. We built Pillar 2 Agent to work with our market-leading tax management portal, Intella, so clients can get updates and view dashboards on Pillar 2 compliance alongside indirect, corporate, and other business tax obligations. We use Intella to provide the dashboards and overviews of the workflows so we can focus Pillar 2 Agent on the calculation, review, reporting, and filing of Pillar 2 obligations. And we've designed Pillar 2 Agent to make use of our existing filing platform, which is already being used to e-file in over 100 distinct e-file packages in more than 45 countries. Being able to onboard new e-filing packages quickly and in a manner that is consistent with each government's existing e-filing protocols was one of the reasons we chose this particular technology solution.
Albert, can I pause you there and just double click on that issue? This is something you and I sat down together 2+ years ago to try to figure out what kind of Pillar 2 solution we wanted to bring to market. And we made a conscious decision to use an existing platform that is already e-filing to try to deal with some of the problems we foresaw. Can you play that out a little bit for us? I just talked about maybe having as little as a 3-month window in the UK, for example, to get that GIR done. How does using a platform that is already pre-registered in the UK to do e-filing help us get through that short period of time easier?
Well, we've had plenty of opportunity to use our e-filing platform. I would look at it from this perspective. 3 months is a long time actually to implement an e-filing solution in a single country. We're expecting to be able to do this in 2 to 3 weeks per country. And we need to be able to do that because we're expecting to have 50 plus filings to do across the whole globe. So if you think about quite a few GIR filings and also the QTMPTs we'll need to do, we're probably talking about 50 filings. Using an accelerator like this it gives us confidence that we can do it because we've done it before and we've filed to these tax authorities using it.
Using our existing platform means we're using a group of people that have done this before. They have experience with these specific governments doing e-filing in the way that those governments want it done. They're building on a platform they know and have been building on for years. They're not trying to implement new technologies to face new challenges. And the government knows us. We've already pre-registered. It's not just that we know them, they know us. The same people, the governments that are doing Pillar 2 Agent, these government technology offices aren't that big.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing I'd say is that it has the controls in place already for managing a complex filing environment so that you know that you have the right receipts, the right proof of filing, the right audit trails if there's any issues. These things are important because it's a complex landscape.
Yeah. As I look forward, one of the things that I'm most concerned about is the last mile of the filing. A lot of companies are going to feel very confident that they can do Pillar 2 calculations. They will have been provisioning on it all year long. And then the question is, now how do I take what I've been doing for provision and get it into forms and into the government's hands in a fast and efficient way as possible? And it feels like what you're describing is a system and a technology that has a head start in doing that. We're further along that last mile than a lot of other technologies might be.
The other aspect I would say is calculating and managing all the top-up tax and the different QDMDT calculations. You need to build a tool that's capable of managing those complexities year on year. And that is one of the things we focused on right at the beginning, if you remember, Chad, is what will happen if every country implements a slight difference to QDMDT. You need to be able to manage that and report that correctly. The last thing is we understand the importance of testing. So while we have a really solid platform, it's been in use for over a year now. We've conducted many dry runs with clients, and that's using client data, which they've already used in-house to ensure that the tool delivers reliable results. And then we get feedback and input on the design. So clients feedback and say, actually, they like this feature, or they'd like to do different type of reporting. So it's really helpful for us to basically make the tool the best it could possibly be and understand actually what our clients really need. The last thing I would say is that this is kind of unique to this particular tax, is that it's global, it's going to be in multi-jurisdictional complexity, so it needs to be appropriate for use in every jurisdiction and meet all of the privacy and security concerns that local tax authorities have. Currently, we have 28 countries signed off across the globe, and we're continuously expanding this coverage. We expect to cover 50 plus countries in terms of actually local laws complying with local privacy requirements. And that's really important because this is not going to be something you file in just one country. You're going to be filing it in many countries. And having a platform that is effectively pre-built, pre-signed off, and ready to go is really, really important.
Obviously, we've introduced a number of concepts as well as technology solutions that can help companies as they're going on their Pillar 2 journey. If you were to sit with a tax leader and give them one piece of advice about navigating the technology market for Pillar 2 solutions, what would it be? Maybe, Albert, I start with you.
So I think I reflect on this, and I think that almost all organizations will need help reviewing and filing in some countries. So most of our clients will be choosing a combination of technology and compliance assistance. So the piece of advice I think is the most important is you're choosing both technology and the right partner to help you navigate Pillar 2 and its complexities. And from our perspective, having the most comprehensive Pillar 2 platform gives our clients the greater choice on who does what and what we help on and what the client does. But I also believe you need a partner who can pick up any part of the process and complete the picture of a Pillar 2 compliant return.
Bev, how about you? What would you say?
I think it's about how does the tax technology fit your broader technology strategy. So this includes clients developing their own roadmap to make sure they secure the necessary budget and both that and the resources from stakeholders outside the tax function. So that could include finance, that could include IT, systems, legal. How does the technology fit the broader technology strategy?
I think this journey is challenging in a lot of ways. I've described it to clients as going on the journey when the US first adopted e-filing 20 plus years ago. There was uncertainty because we weren't sure whether the solutions were going to work. How are you going to get through all the e-filing checks? And you had vendors kind of telling you about functionality that didn't exist yet and promising you it would do certain things that it didn't currently do. This is going to be a little bit of that kind of transitional journey, particularly in year one. The government platforms haven't been built yet. The OECD has yet to release the final GIR XML template. We don't 100% know what these forms are going to look like. So I do kind of maybe reflect on, Albert, what you said, that this is a little bit about picking a partner. You're not necessarily picking a technology solution because whatever technology solution you're starting with isn't going to be the final end product that actually gets you through that last mile. So I think it's looking at what can the tool do today, what isn't vaporware, what works, what's real, and then also understanding the capabilities and capacity and the global reach of whatever vendor that you're working with. And then I do, Bev, go back to your comment, which is like I need to take a technology and make it fit with my broader technology environment. And so is the technology flexible enough to fit with the current iteration of technology development that a certain client has, right? We have clients at all different levels of technology maturity. So what's a journey like with Pillar 2 Agent, Bev or Albert? If I'm a low tech company, I haven't invested a lot, everything's sitting in Excel, how do I use Pillar 2 Agent if that's my profile?
Well, I would say, first of all, so just if I take the first bit of that, Bev, that Pillar 2 agent is designed to work really well with Excel. So we have an Excel model that we use for basically for provision in Deloitte. It's an accelerator in that area. And Pillar 2 agent is completely compatible with that. If you're familiar with Excel, you can get all the data out of Pillar 2 agent in Excel, and you can see the calculation in Excel. If you want to export the calculation and what's going on, it'll export to Excel. It is the same calculation that runs in Pillar 2 Agent, but obviously Pillar 2 Agent is not using Excel. It's quite easy to use, and it's designed to be comprehensive, so to guide you through the whole process, the end-to-end Pillar 2 process. It's one of those, my view is, as a piece of software and the user experience, it's pretty frictionless, given the complexity. I think it's a pretty good starting point if you're not particularly sophisticated in terms of actually what you've got in your technology landscape. I think it's easy to implement and easy to use. Bev, we've had quite a few discussions on this. What's your view on that?
Yeah, so if we look at that, I think the solution has no less than 5 or 6 ways of actually consuming data, one of which is from Excel through to sort of REST APIs. And so actually, where you are on that journey in terms of technology, I think the solution needs to fit with it each of those different organizations. So that's what we have at the moment.
The most sophisticated clients, they want to slice and dice the solution. There's bits of it they don't want to use. So what we have is a solution that we have that does the whole end-to-end process. But if you're just interested in the filing process, that part is separable. You can just do the filing process. If you just want to look at a particular area around, say, for example, compliance, you're not interested in provision, you can just look at the compliance area. You could even use it to just data collect on country by country if you want to. So we've designed it so that actually you can configure it so that it is much more specific to your particular needs. And on the largest clients, what we see is that actually they want to do quite a lot of the calculation themselves, and we allow that. I think it fits well at both ends of the spectrum. We're going to have more variation come over time, and clients asking for more flexibility about how they use the platform and actually what parts they do themselves in-house and what parts are done in the platform.
I think that's right. To add to that, I think there's also a security element. Some clients are much more cautious about who can use a solution. How do they collect data in different ways so that they are in keeping with the security that they have within their organization?
I was going to say, as one of the less technologically advanced partners, the features I enjoy the most are the way that it interacts with Excel, the ability to get a one-click input and import from Deloitte's Pillar 2 impact assessment model and have that populate, and then a one-click export back to that is very useful to me. And then also the ability to create an audit trail that we could give to, for example, tax auditors or financial statement auditors that shows the end-to-end calculations in easily navigable Excel-type logic coming out of a cloud tool, I think are great features that you touched on, Albert. And certainly my clients have appreciated the idea that through the REST API, they can get their data into the solution quickly from their more advanced systems. And also they can just bring it in and use the portions of Pillar 2 Agent that are meaningful to them. As we go forward from here, what's the path if as a company I want to use Pillar 2 Agent? Who do I talk to? How do I get engaged? How do I get signed up? Like if I want to see Pillar 2 Agent, what's that look like, Albert?
So I'd start with the first point is that it's really important if you're thinking about engaging in the Pillar 2 process is that you do it through wherever your headquarters are, because fundamentally Pillar 2, the whole process and rules start with the headquartered company and then move out from there. So I would start with wherever my headquarters are, contacting my local Deloitte contact there as the starting point to get that conversation going. I think that there are definitely local jurisdiction complexities that need to be taken account of, but the heavy lifting is mostly in the what I would call the headquartered and central area of this.
So dial up your local Deloitte team in the headquarters jurisdiction and let them guide you from there.
Yeah, because if you're in 50 countries, you don't want 50 different discussions. Really, you want one discussion focusing on how to solve this problem for your whole organization.
Maybe one last question just to get in to the mix. One of the things that my clients are most concerned about are about local variations in the Pillar 2 rules. How have we thought about dealing with that and implementing that in Pillar 2 Agent, where the model rules may say one thing, but there's a concern that certain jurisdictions might depart from that. How have we built flexibility into that, and how much of that are we seeing?
I'll start off by saying is that there's quite a lot of pressure from the OECD not to have variations, particularly around getting a qualified domestic minimum tax. That said, there are already variations. And the way we've dealt with that is that in our calculation model, every year is separate. Every type of tax is separate. So safe harbor is separate from the IIR tax, which is separate from the QDMTT, and which is also separate from the UTPR calculation. So we have different calculations, and each calculation can be different per country. So if I want to do a different calculation for a country in a QDMTT, I can do that. It's all seamlessly handled. And there are a few already in there. There's one for Bulgaria. There's a change already in there, so that's a slightly different calculation. France has a slightly different IIR calculation. We'll see if those rules stay different, but at the moment they are different. We can accomplish any variations we need, and they're also very well managed because they don't affect the rest of the calculation. So the Bulgarian calculation has no impact on anyone else other than the Bulgarian QDMTT. So that's the approach we've taken. And we recognize that experience tells us that this is going to get more complex over time, not less complex, even though the OECD are pressurizing countries to try and keep aligned. There will always be a degree of local flavor to the calculation.
And certainly what we have seen is not a tremendous amount of variation. And we've seen a commitment by countries in the tax packages they're looking to implement between now and the end of the year to come back in line. Where some variation has been introduced, a number of countries are saying they're going to amend their laws to get back in line with the model rules. So this is a little bit like some of those things we've talked about, where we don't know what the end state is going to be, but we've built a tool that's flexible so we have the ability and capacity to deal with variations as they arise. And that'll be the journey we go on over the next year. As we wrap up, remember that choosing the right Pillar 2 tool is crucial. No matter who you're talking to, ask these 3 crucial questions. 1, can we do a dry run? And can you show me how it actually works? As we described, a lot of these tools are very much in development. And so the proof is in the pudding. Go and force them to show you how it works and walk you through. In fact, see if they'll let you put real data in and see real calculations coming out on the other side. Second, press on whether the technology is signed off in all the jurisdictions that you need to use the tool, right? Are they ready to say, this has been signed off on both a technology, a risk, and a technical basis in every country where you do business? And if not, why and when will it be available for you to use to solve your Pillar 2 compliance challenges? And third, press on the future of the model. Is the data model truly comprehensive both for today and the future? What tools do they have and what processes have they implemented to deal with the rapid change we expect over the next year? And are they really ready to take you through that last mile of the journey so that you can hit your filing deadlines both in late 2025 and in mid 2026? Thank you all for your time. We appreciate your participation. And then we encourage you to reach out to your local Deloitte tax team for further guidance and support. Thank you. Take care.